is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they actually love, and create real, amazing relationships. This is a show about your life. We're glad you're here. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality of The Ken Coleman Show. #1 best-selling author is my co-host today. If you haven't heard The Ken Coleman Show, it's all about your work and your career and getting into work you love and actually making money you do it and all that kind of stuff. So he's here to help me today, and we're going to talk to you about your life and your money. The phone number is 888-825-5225. We'll start with Ben in Tampa, Florida. Hey, Ben, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, first of all, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So we have a mortgage, new construction, house-related question.
Mm-hmm.
So we sold our house in December of 21, and we made a buku amount of money on it, and we went under contract for a new build, literally within a couple of weeks, in December as well. Obviously, we did the whole debt-to-income ratio. We wanted to be in that 35, 36% to be comfortable with this new mortgage. And now that the rates have obviously almost doubled since December of 21, we couldn't foresee that, but I would just like to know what my options are, and if you have any details on what I think you're going to say, what one option is. But again, we're just pretty nervous about being up to probably 50% debt to income with the new mortgage potentially on the horizon, with taxes and also HOAs. And
yeah. Well, Ben, you're apparently fairly new to our material. We appreciate you joining us. We teach people to never do anything over 25% of your take-home pay. Not 36%. 36% is max. You bought the most that they would possibly qualify you for. And then you probably don't even qualify now. You don't qualify for, you can't qualify for a mortgage of 50% of your income.
Well, so yeah, we're pretty close. I would say we're about 47% right now.
Yeah. That's suicide. It's absolute suicide.
Yeah.
What you did was dumb to start with. It's gone from dumb over into crazy. Yeah. Let me tell you why I say that, and then you'll understand why I'm being so dramatic. Okay. Here's the thing.
That's okay.
There's two elements that the size of your mortgage affect. Number one, the first thing it affects is when you have much more than 25% of your household take-home pay going into your mortgage, you don't have any wiggle room left in your budget, and it tends to drive people into debt. They don't save to buy their next car, they go into debt to buy their next car. They don't save for vacation, they go into debt to go on vacation. They don't save for Christmas, they go into debt for Christmas. All because they're what we call house poor, and they can't win. At 50% of your take-home pay, it's virtually impossible to operate the household without going deeply into debt on the other items. There's just no room in your budget. I've been doing budgets for 35 years with individuals, okay? When 50% of your income goes out to your house payment, that's called house poor. You got nothing left. Mm-hmm. You are stressed, looking for a place to happen. You are going to learn to hate this house and your spouse by the time you get out of this. Y'all are going to be fighting about money all the time. There's going to be stress dripping off the place, all that. The second problem is this. Further out there than the short-term problems that I just outlined is there's two main things that happens to people that become millionaires. They put money into their 401k and their Roth IRA on a steady diet, and they pay off their home. You can do neither when you're at 50%. So is this contract for this build contingent upon financing?
It is.
Good.
Yep.
Good. You're going to be moving somewhere else, young man, if you're smart. You do whatever you want to do. But if you call me up and you were my best friend, my little brother, my son, it's exactly what I would tell you. Because it's going to break your heart. It's going to break your wife's heart. Y'all are going to be. It's going to break the builder's heart. It's going to break everybody's little heart's going to be broken. But let me tell you what. You choose your pain. You're either going to choose the pain in the short term right now to get out of this mess and go get something you can afford, or you're going to choose the pain long term of you're going to walk with a financial limp for the next decade with this.
So you don't see any. Let it all calm down and think about refinancing, just bite the bullet for the next year or two and refinance maybe.
Well, I mean, yeah, if the rate came back down and you could refinance, or if you have the potential to double your income in the next 3 years, to where you would get to 25% of your take-home pay. You know, you can do it for a period of time, but the problem is you're stressing the machine. You're like running, you got your foot on the accelerator and you're running this car at like 6,000 R's. 7,000 R's. You're up in the red on the R's. You follow me? And you can run down the street that way. I mean, you can run 10 miles that way. But you try to run 100 miles with that thing, you're going to blow that engine. And that's what we're talking about here. You're redlining.
Hey, Ben, it sounds to me like everything Dave has laid out, you either expect him to say or you agree with it, but you're feeling some pressure from somewhere else, maybe someone else. Is that true or false?
I would say it's partly true because the decision to do this was to make our forever home. We needed a bigger place to be for our teenager, his friends, and it gave us an opportunity to be completely debt-free except the house.
Yeah, I'm hearing that. I'm hearing you completely agree with everything Dave said, and yet you're still hanging on. But, and Dave, I think that's the real challenge here. There's some personal stuff going on in that whole family unit that's making him try to find a way that really isn't there.
Ben, you're trying to do something good for your family.
Yeah.
And you're going to do it in such a way that's going to be bad for your family. And when you emotionally digest that as well as intellectually digest that, and you and your wife as two grown-ups sit and look at this and go, we're not in Congress. We have to live on less than we make. This is not a good 10-year plan. This is not a good 20-year plan. And therefore, it's not good for your teenager. Because teenagers absorb stress off their parents like sponges. If your family starts tightening up and can't breathe, and then you and your wife start going at each other, which the number one cause of marital disagreement and divorce is money stress and money problems, and you're just walking straight into the bandsaw. You're walking right into the flamethrower. You are asking for it. You know, I just wouldn't advise that to anybody I loved. I love you, man. I want you to win. I don't want you to, I'm not here to keep you from having nice things. I'm here to keep your nice things from having you. And that's what we want you to do. So you do whatever you want, but you called in here and we're experts on our opinion. This is the Ramsey Show. Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career. Welcome to the Ramsey Show. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. New York City's on the line. Sarah's with us. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
All right. So my husband and I are having a baby in September, and we're disagreeing about whether or not we should be buying a new-to-us car to prepare. We currently have a 98 Honda Accord and a 2008 Toyota RAV4. I'm not really comfortable with the idea of the baby being in the 98 with all the safety changes, in the past 20-plus years. So we have no debt. We make $180,000 a year before taxes. We have $40,000 outside of our emergency fund. My husband acknowledges that we can afford the car, but doesn't want to buy it because it's a want, not a need. It's a bad time to be buying cars, and there's nothing wrong with the 98. I think we're ready for an upgrade. So what do you think? Can I, or better yet, you tell him that it's time to crack open his wallet?
Is he listening in?
You are great. You're awesome. We should sell tickets.
I think
we
he's
should sell tickets. This is great.
The room listening.
He's outside the room, Dave. He's standing with bated breath.
And he let you set all of this up just to have his head taken off. This is awesome.
Yes, he did give me his arguments before I called.
His financial arguments are all accurate. But there's some things beyond the financial argument. Your argument on safety is absolute BS. It's absolutely not true. Okay? You're talking to an old man that grew up, we rode in the back window of the car, and when they slammed on the brakes, it threw us into the floorboard. So your baby's going to survive, okay? So it's going to be okay. You're going to be all right. But you can afford a car. So it is a want, and you have the money for the want. It is not a need, and there's never been a car, well, except for classic cars that are collectibles, that is a good investment. They all go down in value. They're all mathematically horrible, okay? So it's just simply consumption. But you make how much? $160,000 a year, right?
180.
180 before taxes.
I'm sorry, 180. Okay, that's after tax?
Before tax.
Oh, before tax, 180, right? Okay, is that what you said?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and you have $40,000 allocated to the car, and you don't have any debt, right?
No.
Okay. So if you pay cash for the car, yes, you should move up in car. No, you should not buy a brand new car unless you have a net worth of $1 million or more. In which case, if you want to buy a new car, you can. Well, hard to find one for 40, but these days, but you can do that. So, but yeah, I think you would move up in car, and you might even move up in 2 cars. I'm okay. Neither one of these cars are great. But as long as you're paying cash and the total that you're investing in them is less than half of your annual income, and it would be, you wouldn't have the cash to do more. So, but if you moved up $15,000 each in 2 different cars, you would move into substantially different vehicles, and we could just set the whole baby thing aside, except that your pregnancy is what caused the argument, but you just, without a baby involved, you could still do this deal. It's not unreasonable financially. Okay?
Okay.
So you win the argument, but for none of the reasons that you thought.
Now, Sarah,
I'll take it.
Sarah, relationally, I feel like I got to speak up on behalf of your husband. Now, when you share this with him, you got to read him. So maybe the win for you relationally with him is that you give him your car instead of buying 2 cars. That may be too much for him to handle. I don't know, Dave. This guy's on the other side of the wall.
Oh, yes.
Ken is saying, nah, doesn't work to bring this up.
Yes, I'm basically going, I'll tell you what, we could just upgrade my car and I'll give you the one that I'm driving. Or maybe if he wants,
the truth is that his arguments financially are all correct.
Yeah.
There's almost no time you can justify moving up in car financially. It almost never makes sense financially. Oh, it breaks down all the time. It doesn't break down as much as $15,000, which we're talking about moving up on one car here, right? $15,000 in repairs. That's absolute BS. And the safety of a Honda Accord, this 20 years, it's just fine. You're just fine. Just don't drive like a maniac,
Yeah.
But, it's not a James Bond movie you're in. You're just taking a kid to daycare. So, but the truth is, it's a luxury that is not going to cripple you financially that you can afford. And I do some stuff like that. And I'm freaking Dave Ramsey, which is kind of synonymous with tightwad. So, Sharon and I buy some things that we can afford. And they don't cripple us financially. They don't slow us down financially. It's a small enough number that it doesn't matter. And all of these numbers fall in that category.
I'll tell you one, your coffee maker at the lake. I have no idea what it costs. It's nobody's business, but that's a fantastic coffee maker. I got to tell you, at the lake house. Very fancy. I was intimidated.
I have bought cars cheaper. Yeah.
Oh, boy. See, I didn't know, but I'm going to tell you, we were out there.
But I had some cheap cars. But yeah, I mean, it's not a $15,000 coffee maker, but yeah.
It's a nice coffee maker is all I'm saying.
And it's just, it falls under the category of SWI. Sharon wants it. Right?
I like that. That's a good category.
We can, and in this case, Sarah wants it. SWI, right?
Yeah.
So
that would make great reality TV, the rest of this conversation. See, we put Sarah on hold. Now she's going to go talk to the hubs who's behind the wall. Well, watching how that goes could be great television.
I told you so. It's not going to be a great line here.
No.
But because for all the reasons she wanted to do it, she was wrong.
That's true.
The only reason it works is because it works and you can afford it. And so if you want to buy an item that doesn't make sense financially, but you have the money. Now, here's another way to look at having the money. I often use this on the air, and I'll use it with this case, okay? Cars are the same way. If you take that amount of money and set fire to it,
yes,
just to watch it burn, does it hold you back substantially financially? Does it cause you to walk with a limp financially? Does it cause you to be off your kilter? And if the answer is no, then you can afford the luxury of it. But oftentimes people buy something and they justify their butts off, they rationalize their butts off, and it's something that's an amount of money you can't afford to burn up.
Correct.
I mean, if you make $60,000 a year and you want to go buy a $40,000 car, you can't afford to burn that much money.
Yeah.
It'll burn your hair off.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do it.
Right.
And so that's what the type of way of looking at it is. You go, does this change my life if I burn this much money? Then you go, well, then I can afford to buy the luxury. Or like James, he collects $25,000 guitars, right? And I just made that up, but he does collect. He
just choked.
He does have way too many guitars. There's a lot of guitars represented in the booth, as a matter of fact, right now.
That's true.
A lot of stringed instruments are represented in the booth.
Yeah.
Can they afford those, given that none of them make their living with those instruments? Yes, they can.
Right.
Because that amount of money as a luxury or in a hobby is something I care about.
Yeah.
Something they care about.
Yeah.
I don't. But that's amount. I mean, if I buy this gun, if I buy another gun, like I don't have enough, I got plenty.
Yeah,
but if I buy another one, which I'm apt to do at any moment, does it change my financial trajectory? No.
Yeah.
And as long as that's the answer, and if my wife buys a purse, no one should spend that on a purse. You're right. They shouldn't. But people do, including her. And so, no one should spend that on a gun. Let me tell you what guns cost you. 2 purses.
I was getting ready to ask that. You get a new gun, Sharon gets a couple purses.
That's
it's a good deal
it's
for
a trade out. It's a trade out. Same with James and his guitars, right?
Yeah. By the way, when Dave says he has a lot of guns, if the Tennessee National Guard had a shortage, you're on speed dial.
I know. Someday I'm gonna be arrested as an insurgent. But I'm not sure against what.
Hush! You're going to give people ideas. They've been looking for an in for you.
So there it is.
See,
it's easy.
They've been looking for a way to get you.
Yeah, but the point being, if you're spending money on something that has absolutely no benefit except it's something you want, you have lived like no one else. So now you can live.
That's a great point.
And give like no one else. Same thing about giving money away. When you're being generous with the money, you should be able to give it away and it not change your life, except for the huge benefit that being a generous person gives you. It's the same exact process. So, but if you want to give everything you own away, you got to stop and think about that one. That needs to be God's voice in your ear for sure, not some kind of guilt trip by a liberal. This is The Ramsey Show. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, officially on the debt-free stage, is Adam and Lonnie? Laney. I knew I was going to mess that up. Laney. Welcome, you guys. Where do you live?
We live in Hudsonville, Michigan, which is just outside of Grand Rapids.
Very cool. Great area. We love Grand Rapids. Been a wonderful relationship with the Ramsey team up there over the years. All right. Well, how much debt did you two pay off?
We paid off $140,771.
Excellent. How long did that take?
Took 30 months.
Wow. And your range of income during that time?
150 to 170.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I am an engineering manager.
I am a special education teacher for autism.
Awesome. Very cool. What kind of debt was your $141,000?
So $11,740 was a home equity line of credit for a vehicle, for a car, and then $129,031 was our house.
You paid off your house.
We did. I know.
We're looking at weird people.
Yes, you are.
Way to go, guys.
We were hoping that you'd call us weird.
Oh, it's a standard thing, man. Normal's broke. Weird people are not broke. That's good. It's weird to actually be out of debt and have some money. Way to go, you two. Excellent. All right, what's this house worth?
It's worth like $400.
How much in your retirement accounts?
Right around $450.
Okay. Bumping up next to millionaire then, huh?
Working on it.
All right. Going to be baby steps millionaires before we know it. How old are you two?
You can go first.
I'm 39, almost 40.
And I'm 38.
All right. Not even 40, and you're almost millionaires and 100% debt-free.
Yeah.
Not
You
yet.
guys are amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Way to go, man.
Oh, man, it's surreal to be here.
Way to go. All right. Well, tell us your story. What in the world happened 2.5 years ago? Set you guys on fire.
I mean, we had done some things right with money, but not everything for sure. And in the beginning of 2020, New Year's resolution style, done a lot of listening to you, and then really just started talking to Laney, and we talked about where we wanted to go. And one of the things that really unlocked things for us was sharing the budget and using every dollar so that there was visibility. I'm being an engineer, I keep track of things pretty closely, and always had good intent of sharing that. And we'd have a monthly reminder on the calendar to sit down, but unfortunately it just wouldn't happen. And so every dollar just unlocked things for us so that there was instantaneous visibility, and we both knew where we were at.
Yeah, it was really helpful. Like Adam said, he's phenomenal with creating a budget, and he's got awesome Excel spreadsheets and everything. And I look at it and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then every dollar
He gets
was awesome.
way too much joy from this, doesn't he?
He does, yes.
One of the things that got me most fired up is I had a normal amortization table of our mortgage, and then every single time we paid extra, just ratcheted down.
Yeah,
and
slide down in it.
Right, you could see yourself just knocking out months and months and years.
That is powerful. That's that math blows your mind when you first see it. And you go, I'm going to slide down that many months, about $1,000. I'm going to find another $50 so I can get to that other month. It's just it's crazy. Yeah. Way to go, y'all. Way to go. How's it feel to have no payments in the world?
Weird.
It's just such a great feeling, such a great feeling for our family. one of the main reasons we're here is for those two little guys over there. They are crazy, and that's our family, but it's who we are. And it was funny when we were talking about coming on the show, I just kept reminding Lainey, like, let's just be ourselves. Be ourselves. This is who we are, right? And we're real people that live in Michigan and just want to spread hope to other people too.
I love that. And I want to stay on that theme. You know, Lainey, you were kind of talking about the spreadsheets make your eyes roll around in your head. And boy, do I certainly, identify with that. But I think it's great for other couples that are listening in and watching to know, how'd you all make it work with you all being so very different? What made it work for you all coming together with very different personalities, different strengths, and so forth?
Yeah. I think we were definitely each other's biggest cheerleaders, and we have great communication, which helps.
You really had a 90%, and you just dialed it up to 99, didn't you, with the every dollar budget?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Another thing that was neat that Adam did was he took a house and he made it into all these little squares for us. And so each time we made a payment to the house.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so one of the house payoff graphics, and so that was powerful for us. So and you can see that the boys helped us color it in too. So they were part of the experience. We were very open with them about what we were doing and why we were doing it. Yeah. And it's kind of funny. There's a funny story where it was actually the day before Cohen's birthday, and Grady and I, we were going into Granville outside of Grand Rapids to pick up a last-minute birthday gift for him. And we saw a really nice car because one of the things that we paid off was actually a vehicle. And later in our journey in November of last year, we actually decided that it was a vehicle that we had our fun with. It was a Camaro, and we decided that reverse engineered it and said, based on car values, because car values were just crazy. It was like, you know what, we're going to let this one go. And
did you actually make money on it?
I did not.
But
it was
close,
real close. Yeah. I drove it for 3 years for $1,200.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
But I remember Grady saying to me, I pointed out a nice car because we're automobile people. We like cars and stuff. And he was like, well, when are we going to get, or why did we sell our car? And I was like, well, we put the money towards the house. And then right away he asked me, well, how many squares was that? So it connected. And I was like, well, it was like 60 squares. And he's like, man, that's a lot of squares.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. You have a whole new currency in your house.
Yeah, I love that.
Squares. Yeah,
that's good.
Every
Very
time
good.
your theme song comes on, the boys are like, it's Dave's show. And they were.
How did you guys get connected to us on the radio? Or?
Yeah, just originally listening to the radio. You're on 106.9 in Grand Rapids from 6 to 9 in the evenings, and just happenstance listening to that. I remember there was Financial Peace at our church years ago, and we knew very little about it then. Didn't participate, just heard people talk about envelopes and stuff like that. And then as it continued to be on our hearts, and as we learned more about it, then we were like, well, this is the plan for us.
What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
I think communication and prayer, honestly. Anytime something came into our house that was extra, we would talk and we would pray about how we wanted to tithe first, and then we continued.
How many squares is it?
Right. And then of course the boys. I mean, there's something in your family, whether it's kids or each other or just yourself, like you deserve to live like you've never lived before, and so use that as motivation.
In your case, changing your family tree.
Yeah.
Well done, y'all. All right, let's bring the boys up and introduce them. What are their names and ages?
This is Grady. He is 10, and this is Cohen, and he is 8.
Cohen and Grady. Very cool, very cool. Well, we've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you, our latest #1 bestseller around here. How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth. How you can too. You're almost there. The millionaire status, so you will see pictures of yourself in here, at least statistically. Very well done, and because you're exactly what this book is about. Also, Total Money Makeover for you to give away and help someone else that's inspired by your journey when they hear about you, and Financial Peace University. If you never took it, you can take it now. It's the brand new videos, the best version of Financial Peace University we've ever done. This is a 1-year membership, so we'll give you that as well, or you can give it away, whatever you want to do with it.
Thank you.
We're so glad you're here. Congratulations, you guys. Proud of you.
Thanks.
Very good stuff. Thanks for coming all the way to Nashville to celebrate with us. We love, as I said, we love Grand Rapids people in that area. It's an absolutely incredible area, and we've had a wonderful, decades-long relationship with that community. So very, very cool. All right, it's Adam and Laney, Grady and Cohen from Hudsonville, Michigan. $141,000 paid off in 30 months. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
All right, you guys ready? 3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! That's how it's done. You want to know what that sound was? That was the sound of a family tree changing right there. You always wondered what it sounded like, didn't you? That's it. This is the Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman Ramsey, personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Big announcement. Are you ready? Our Wealth Building Wealth Live event tour is completely blowing up. We sold out Phoenix for September 13th. Sacramento, Minneapolis, San Antonio are all in the 90% sold out bracket. So that means a handful of tickets are available for those cities. Do not wait. If you're sitting around thinking about joining us, don't wait. It's going to be me and Ken Coleman sitting to my right, Dr. John Deloney, George Camel, Rachel Cruz. We're going to be there talking to you guys about building wealth in this current environment. How do you analyze what's going on in the marketplace, in the culture, in the economy, and still put yourself in a position to move forward? Again, Phoenix, September the 13th, sold out. Sacramento, November the 1st. Minneapolis, November the 10th. San Antonio, November the 15th. Passes start at $25. You can get a 4-pack starting at $60. Go to RamseySolutions.com/events. Get your seats. These are going to be gone in just a matter of days or maybe a week or two, something like that. Oh, and we're going to help you out. We have not been able to secure any more venues in any of the other cities, but we did secure September the 12th in Phoenix, so we are opening up a new night in Phoenix. If you missed out on the first night, September the 12th added now. That is a Monday, and we would love to have you. So brand new. It is obviously not sold out. It goes on sale today. So that's pretty cool. Phoenix is on fire for Ramsey stuff.
Yeah, 2 nights in a row. We love that market. So listen, bring friends, family. If you can't get it on the 13th, we got another night. And you might like it so much on Monday night, you're just going to come back. So you're just like, I'm anticipating it's going to be so great, I'm going to come twice.
No, Monday night's the new one.
No, I know.
Tuesday's sold
silly.
out. You can't get in Tuesday.
I know.
Tuesday's
but if you
gone.
already bought your Tuesday ticket.
Don't create a security problem, Coleman.
Sorry, folks. He doesn't like the off-script jokes. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
If they cause our security guys problems,
yeah,
no.
That is true. It's going to be fun, though. These events have all been electric. A lot of people coming early. Every event we've been to,
we're
Dave,
doing book signings. We're taking pictures. We're hanging out with you guys. And, hey, we're so excited just to be doing these things again.
Yeah, we're just happy to be somewhere besides Nashville.
We love Nashville, too. But, oh, my gosh, being able to travel and do these events in your cities, it's our favorite thing to do as personalities. So, again, Sacramento, Minneapolis, San Antonio, just a handful of tickets left. Phoenix, September 13th, sold out today, adding a new one. This one probably won't last a month. So September 12th, take a cue from the fact the other one is gone and get your tickets. Phoenix, you can now get in on that brand new date at RamseySolutions.com. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer. Custom window coverings with free samples, free shipping, and new promos all the time. To get the best deal on the promo, always use the magic word. It is magic. Ramsey. We love Blinds.com. They love us. We love their customers. They're you. This is The Ramsey Show. All right, Ken, what do we got?
Today's question is from Scott in Michigan. I have now been leading FPU for several years, so I'm well versed on what the Ramsey plan is for a ton of life situations. I now face a dilemma in my attempt to further my career. I have a lot of big banks, mortgage companies, and other such financial institutions at which I could work. I'm wondering, is there a moral or ethical issue with going to work for one of these institutions since they make their money by selling debt? I'm in IT, so I wouldn't have any direct involvement in the business side, but it still seems like it would be a conflict of principle. What are your thoughts? Well, Scott, in some ways you answer your own question here, because while it is in fact a dilemma because of what you believe, how you live your life, and how you're teaching others the Ramsey way, this is a dilemma, but it is not a moral, ethical issue. Period. End of sentence. There's nothing. You're not breaking the law. You are not doing anything that would even be considered a gray area from an ethical standpoint. However, this is a principle issue, and so you've got principle on one side, and you've got a legitimate way to work. You're in IT, and you can make really good money and do very well there. But this is not an ethical issue. It is a principle issue, and that's a difference. And so you've got to be able to live with you. Now,
let me give you an example of what I do on that. Okay. I endorse community banks.
Sure.
And credit unions in a lot of cities.
Right.
A lot of local radio stations sell ads with my voice that I endorse, and I do believe in them.
Yeah.
In community banks.
And Churchill Mortgage, a mortgage company.
And I endorse Churchill Mortgage, and Mike Hardwick that owns Churchill is one of my best friends.
Yep.
And so now, what's the difference? I wouldn't endorse Bank of America for any amount of money. Mm-hmm. I would feel dirty. Mm-hmm. So the way I answer the question is, would I send someone there that I care about? Because I'm getting ready to send my listeners there, you guys out there. And if I would not send someone I care about there, then I don't need to send anybody there. That's hypocritical. Would I do IT work? Do you feel dirty when you get home because of the way that business is conducted, who they are, how they do business, the type of products they put out the door? So there's various kinds of debt products. There's various kinds of banks. There are banks like Bank of America where you're a number. All they see you as an opportunity to loan you money. SoFi, all their soft peddling, nurturing bullcrap at marketing is all about just trying to make you feel better about them trying to sell you debt.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't work for them. I certainly wouldn't endorse them, obviously. JP Morgan Chase. I'm not endorsing so I don't endorse any big banks, but I do endorse small banks, and I tell people not to borrow money. Sure. Isn't that weird? Well, you have a checking account there, you have some other things there. You could work in the mortgage business. We tell people not to take out a mortgage unless it's more than a 15-year, and if you got the money to pay cash. And Churchill Mortgage goes along with that, so we endorse Churchill Mortgage, right? And have for 25 years. So I think you're fine. What it amounts to is are you being hypocritical?
Yes.
And the way you answer that is, would I send my best friend there?
I really like that. That's the slime ball test.
Yeah.
You know, if they're not a slime ball, then there's no issue. You're fine. Go do good IT work.
If I'm not working for a payday lender. Mm-hmm. They're taking advantage of the poor. Period. And there's not going to be any on this show. Ever, as long as I'm breathing. And that kind of thing. So that's but that's you're right. It's morals, ethics, and hypocrisy, and it is kind of a gradient, all the way to principles. Mm-hmm. It is kind of a gradient there. If you work at Pizza Hut and they take Visa,
that doesn't mean that you're for credit cards.
And you're waiting tables. Are you violating your financial peace when you raised your right hand and said, I promise to never do debt and never do credit cards as long as I shall live, or whatever the Boy Scouts honor thing is, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so, that kind of thing. Hold three fingers together,
yes.
Put them up in the air, all that kind of stuff, right? So, but I don't borrow money. And I teach people this stuff. So if I took credit cards, that would be super bad, right? That would be inconsistent. I remember when I first started this, I went to a get out of debt seminar this guy had, and he sold a ton of books on credit cards at the back table during the break.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so inconsistent.
That's correct.
And so, but we take debit cards here, and we tell you not to use your credit card. It's hypocritical. We do not need your money if you're borrowing money to buy our stuff. Do not borrow money to buy our stuff. That's ridiculous. It's, the stuff's at the library, and you can listen on for free on YouTube and on this show on your local radio station. So don't go borrow money to do it. If you want to enhance the process, and you have the money by buying a book or going to Financial Peace University or using Ken's assessment or reading one of his books to enhance the process to get a thing. But you don't need to go in debt to get a job.
No. Not at all. And so this comes down to, again, what do I believe is right for me versus right and wrong?
Yeah.
That's you got to.
But if I'm hardcore Financial Peace University and I own a restaurant, is it bad for me to take credit cards? I don't think so.
No, not at all.
But if you're me and you make your living doing this, because I tell people, and then if I did, that would be backward, you know. So if you believe you're bringing harm to someone and you're doing that intentionally, you will, in any business or in any position in any business, if you believe you're participating in that company doing bad things or something that's bad for people, then you're going to have a hard time succeeding at that. It's because your brain, it's called cognitive dissonance. Your brain works against itself. So don't try to do that. I don't care how much money you make, doing scummy things doesn't pay off psychologically in the long run. That's what it comes down to. It's a great question. What a great heart he's got. Good stuff. Ken Coleman, thanks for joining me this hour. Good show. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, host of The Ken Coleman Show, where he talks about careers and jobs and you getting one you love, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Michael's going to start us off in Iowa. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So my question is, as you're helping people in their financial journey and becoming debt-free, when you get to that point that you're financially free from any payments and you have children that are in the house, I understand that, instilling the values that you don't use debt in your everyday life. And, when you get to that point and you're still having, younger kids at home, how did you do it with your children? So that way, as they moved out of the house, they weren't feeling entitled or, mom and dad have money, so, I can basically use.
Yeah. It's a great question.
What they have.
Yeah. So how do you keep becoming wealthy and it's screwing up your kids?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
entitlement is arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm due something that I didn't earn. Okay? You can fix that with kids regardless of the amount of money in your house. Okay, so the Ramsey kids growing up entitlement was not something we allowed, and self-centeredness was not something we allowed, and they're very similar. Mm-hmm. So a couple of things we did, and I'm going to send you a copy of the #1 bestseller Rachel and I did together called Smart Money, Smart Kids. And so there's a couple of items. Let's start with a very philosophical, highbrow thing. Contentment is almost never around entitled people. Contentment comes from gratitude. I'm thankful. Lord, thank you for what I have. and it helps you to be content in what you have. And so our children, it was not an option. We trained them in their gratitude muscle. Thank you. Please. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. We're from the South. You're going to have manners, and you're not going to allow someone to impose themselves across your boundaries or do something evil or wrong to you. That's not what we're saying. But thank you. I'm sorry. Verbal generosity sets the table for the rest of this discussion. And then the rest of the discussion, and it's all age appropriate, okay? But it does melt a grandpa's heart when my 2-year-old or 3-year-old that's barely talking is, thank you, Papa. Or maybe you can't even, maybe it wasn't even enunciated that well, right? Some baby talk version, right? But thank you, Papa. It changes my whole life when that happens, right? When I watch that, because that's gratitude. And gratitude is what's missing in entitled people. And so, once you do that, then we taught our kids to do 4 basic things in the money thing that were character issues. We built their muscle age appropriately. Number 1, they learned to work. You don't have an option if you're a Ramsey, you're going to work. Now, we didn't send 3-year-olds to the salt mines. Okay, it's age appropriate. But when you're 16 and you're exhausted because you've been in the backyard with your old man cutting trees or cleaning the furniture or whatever all day long, oh, cry me a river. Your butt's going to be out there in the sun sweating like your old man doing this stuff. Work. Physical labor is good. Work that is mental, that you're mentally and emotionally exhausted when you're through with. There is dignity in work. There is no dignity in sloth. And so age appropriately, intensity increasing with age, you had to work if you're a Ramsey, because that's where money comes from. It doesn't come from the government. I'm sorry, Joe Biden, it doesn't come from you. I'm sorry, Donald Trump, it doesn't come from you. None of you have ever sent me any money, except some of you sent some of my money back to me. But none of you sent me any money that wasn't already mine in the first place, because I'd already sent you more than that. And so that's how that works. Now, once you learn to work, then we had 3 other muscles we need to build, and that's the muscle of generosity. And that's not only holding the door and saying thank you and please and putting the dishes in the dishwasher for your mama because you say I love you that way, but the generosity is also you give money away age appropriately. Oddly enough, you don't have to teach young children that. They will try to give too much away. They are much more generous than we selfish adults are. Number 2, they need to learn to save. They need to save money. Build a savings muscle. Learn to set a goal. Learn to work towards a goal. And then number 3, spend. Wise spending. And people that can do all 4 of those things when they leave home at 18, don't ever move back into your basement. They work, they save, they give, they spend, they're grateful, they say please and thank you, and they mean it, and they know the axis of the world does not run through the top of their entitled little head. And they don't end up becoming activists. They actually get a job and produce something for the culture.
Right.
I would just add one thing, Michael, and I'm in the middle of it right now with 3 teens. And I think we as parents need to let our kids struggle more. And what I mean by that is put them in a place where they must struggle and then allow the struggle, whether that be learning an instrument or a new job, right? Because when you're taking on a job for the first time at 15,
you got one in football practice.
Yes, sir.
That's struggle.
I think whether it's a sport or it is some type of extracurricular activity. I interviewed Malcolm Gladwell about this many, many years ago, one of the great thinkers on the planet. And he essentially said this, and what happens is when we as parents try to keep our kids from a place of struggle, then what happens is they begin to expect benefit or success instead of appreciate it. And it's much like Dave just said on the working part, but entitlement to me is when I expect something, not appreciate something. And struggle is
when
huge.
you grow up in a household like that, or a household like I grew up in, or you grew up in, if we got triggered on something, there were no safe places.
No. In fact, we did actually. The
Triggered
idea
meant your butt was about to go to work.
Well, to your point, I would never dream of getting triggered with my dad.
No.
Because I'm going to tell you what would have been triggered next is I
Would
could
not have
hear
been
the
a plan.
leather belt whistling through the belt loops as he pulled it off.
No, but I'm talking about if you have a problem with something, you don't expect someone else to fix it or to keep you safe.
Yeah.
When you survive the struggle.
Right.
And so that's the thing.
But when you actually taste it and feel it, you go, wait a second, I appreciate
Well, when you have
this.
overcome obstacles, it builds character, it builds muscle, it builds confidence, it builds dignity. When no one has overcome a struggle, there's no dignity in their life. Hang on, we'll send you a copy of Smart Money, Smart Kids to get you started on that. That's a great question. Thanks for letting us get up on a soapbox.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is our co-host today. My co-host. The phone number here is 888-825-5225. Jason's in Boston. Hi, Jason. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Ken. How are you folks?
Better than we deserve, sir. How can we help?
Thank you. So my wife, she just downloaded the app. She's actually listening at home. So you're, in a sense, talking to both of us at the same time, which is good.
Cool.
So we just decided that we are going to start the baby steps. And with some unfortunate mishaps, we've fallen behind in some of our bills. Mm-hmm. And we don't have a $1,000 emergency fund yet. Mm-hmm. So where do we start? What do we do?
Wow. So what happened?
Well, so my wife is a breast cancer survivor, and our oldest son, who helps contribute to the house, just lost his job, and my hours were cut just a little bit. So we've got just a big financial mess, and mix that in with some poor spending habits, and here we are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's. Certainly, we're going to put you guys into Financial Peace University to help you turn this around, showing you how to handle money and how to do a budget and everything. But it sounds to me like at the core, you've got an income crisis more than anything. Okay. I'll let Ken address that in just a second. As far as the baby steps go, your first goal before you start the baby steps is get current. That may mean selling stuff. It may mean having a garage sale. It may mean taking extra jobs, 16 of them. It may mean selling so much stuff the kids think they're next, that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm talking radical because you got to get current fast because this is such a tenuous, scary place to live. Your wife dealing with medical problems and now dealing with we can't even stay current on the light bill. It's terrorizing her, and I want you guys all to get. But I don't need it, but I'm saying for your sake, I've been where you are, not on the cancer part, but on the broke part, and it just scares the crap out of you. And to get away from that level of terror and fear is your first order of business. So getting current on a budget is first, then start the baby steps and doing anything you can in the short term to get your income up, and then the long term to get your income up is next. Ken?
Yeah, Jason, I'm curious, what do you do for a living now?
I work for FedEx.
Okay. And so when you say you had your hours cut, how much?
So they cut me down like a day or two over the last couple of weeks, but that's going to be getting back up as we continue towards the end of the summer here.
What are you making over the course of a year, last couple of years? What do you make?
I'm right around between 70 and 75,000.
Yeah. What are you doing? Driving or loading?
Driving.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the long term for you? Have you thought about it? What would it look like up the ladder a couple of rungs, doing what kind of work?
I actually enjoy what I'm doing.
What are you going to do on these off days to create extra income then that's more than you're making now?
So even right now, I'm door dashing and driving for Lyft.
Okay. All right, good.
Yeah, I think that's good. I would challenge you, though, because of your ability and what you've done with FedEx. That's a nice little credible brand there. I think I'd be looking for better delivery jobs for at least 6 months, even if you're packing in some crazy hours, maybe driving for one of the large soda companies. They have better hourly rates instead of you doing DoorDash. And I think you can make more money in the driving game. You can get some part-time jobs because right now in the delivery game, period, so take all the trucking companies, you might even be able to drive a smaller size truck. They are desperate right now. We've got a big shortage of workers, Dave, in the supply chain world. So if you like driving, I'd kick the tires is what I'm saying, Jason. You might be able to.
No pun intended.
Yeah, there it is. I stepped right into it. But I do think you can make more money driving than DoorDash and Uber or Lyft.
Yeah, I mean, you got a CDL probably. And so, yeah, you could probably step into some local delivery stuff, some short-term 18-wheeler stuff or whatever.
It could be north of $20, $25 an hour versus Lyft and Uber. That's my point. He can make more buck for his time there.
And anything, I want you working so many hours that your teenager's not in the mix for carrying the family weight. Because you are going to make so much more than he is.
Yeah.
Unless he's doing an app that makes $2 million a year or something, but short of that, you're gonna out earn your teenager, and you should. And as much as your wife's health allows, same thing. Because here's the deal: $10,000 extra over the next 2 months changes your life. Mm-hmm. Not only do you get current, you put $1,000 in the bank and you start working your way out of debt. I mean, you're $10,000 away from a lot of peace. A lot more peace than you have today. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a lot of work and get $10,000. How fast can I gather up $10,000? I'm making that number up. I don't know how far behind he is, but I mean, that's probably going to cover it.
Well, I think it's a good example, Dave, because I think there's a lot of people listening and watching. I want to encourage you right now. Dave's not just throwing this motivational speech out. $10,000 is very doable in today's economy. We are looking at right now a 3.6% unemployment rate. What does that mean to you out there who need extra money to get that shovel bigger, to get out of debt, or in this case, just to get started? It actually means looking out there and seeing there is such high demand. And you take this area, the Boston, Massachusetts area, big metropolitan area, you would be surprised how desperate employers are to get somebody they can count on, and the money is way better than it has ever been. Yeah. It's a white-hot opportunity for part-time income.
Yeah, for $20 to $30 an hour stuff.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That we never dreamed. That pre-COVID you would have never made $10 doing.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah, and that's that's real.
Well, I'll give you an idea. Take Walmart, national company, okay, just so y'all have some real numbers here. They're starting warehouse workers or people that are stocking shelves and off hours. If you want to hustle and get after it, you can be in the $20 to $25 an hour just doing that kind of work. Yes, you're exhausted and you're tired, but again, what would it take to get to $10,000 in 2 months?
I'm trying to get current get my back away from the wall, get the wolf away from the door. I want to put a bullet between the wolf's eyes. I want him to go away. And the wolf at the door it's a scary thing, man. I mean, I've had my lights cut off, my water cut off. And with little babies in the house. That's what happened to us when we went broke 30 years ago. And it scares you at places you didn't even know you had. And it makes you, you stand in the shower and cry because you don't know what to do. You're overwhelmed. And you don't have to boil the ocean here. You just got to go get some quick money any way that's moral and legal, fast. Go get you some money fast. And then you can back down and reassess your overall career goals.
That's correct.
And other stuff and start to maximize your time and think, where do I want to be in 10 years? Do I still want to be doing this in 10 years? Mm-hmm. Is this company stable? Are they going to continue at this level? You can ask all those questions. But right now, go get some money.
That's a great point. You can't make good long-term decisions when your head's on fire because of the financial stress. Get short-term stability, and then we start to plan financial wellness and building wealth like our live events we're doing.
So hang on, and Austin will pick up, and we will get you a copy of, or we'll get you signed up for a 1-year membership to Financial Peace University, and that'll plug you into every dollar, the budgeting app, and you and your wife commit to doing those lessons together. There's 9 videos. Almost 10 million people have been through this course. And if you will do what we teach you to do in there while you go get some money, it'll change your whole life. And then you can call up and tell the lie and say, Dave, you changed my life, because I won't have changed your life. You will have changed it. You're going to go get this. But you're in a perfect place because you're in that I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired place. I hit bottom, man. I said never again. Never again. When you say that, when you yell that at the mirror, that's when you're ready to change your life. Mm-hmm. This is not an intellectual discussion. This is a transformational event. Intellect doesn't cause transformation. Emotion does. Viscerally, down inside, howling at the moon. Never again will my family be in this place. When you say that, then never again your family will be in this place, because you're going to go do what it takes to get her done, baby. And you're that kind of guy. That's why we're going to give it to you. And you call us back and tell us how it's going. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. So I just gave away Financial Peace University, that guy who's getting ready to get up on his feet and get going again. You don't have to be broke to go through FPU. You just want to learn how to handle money better. God's and Grandma's ways of handling money. What does Scripture say about money? Live on less than you make, as an example, okay? And what did Grandma say about money? Live on less than you make. Get out of debt. Stay out of debt. And we're going to show you not only the principles, but then how to actually go about doing those things in your life. We get it. If you're worried about money, it's all consuming. You wonder if you got enough to pay your bills. You can't afford to fill up at the gas station. Nobody can. It's always on your mind. But you shouldn't have to live with that kind of stress, and you don't have to. When you follow a proven plan, you'll discover peace with your money. In Financial Peace University, you'll learn the same plan that's helped 10 million people get on a budget, save, spend wisely, pay off debt, become wealthy, and outrageously generous. Great time to take the course. We've updated a ton of the content, including George Camel, Dr. John Deloney. Decide today that you're done. I've had it. No more. Like I was talking about before the break, you can do this. Go to RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Check out Financial Peace University at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Barbara's with us in Minneapolis. Hey, Barbara, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Papa Dave and Ken. It's great to talk with you guys. Thank you for all that you're doing.
You too.
My husband and I have been married for 10 years. We have a blended family with children ranging from the ages of 32 down to 21. There is a 26-year-old son, my stepson, my husband's son, married, lives in Wisconsin, has 5 children under the age of 7. So they're busy. This son has asked us over 2 years ago, asked to borrow $3,000. My husband and I, we are baby steppers. We're on baby step 6, and hopefully we'll be seeing in about a year and a half for our final debt-free screen to move us to baby step 7. We've had a difficult time getting the son and daughter-in-law to pay us back, and it is causing significant strife in the family. My husband and I are to the point where we just know we're not going to see the money again, the remaining balance of $1,500, and we've accepted that and we've moved on. However, the son continues to just give daggers and say that, he was entitled to the money, he deserved the money, and our other adult children see this and hear these comments. And where I would really love your experience, Ken, is the son does not work. He is not supporting his family, and then throws the emotional manipulation to my husband and I that we will be the ones responsible when him and our grandchildren get kicked out in the street. So we're trying to determine how we just allow these arrows to bounce off of us while holding the empty bag of a financial loan, which caused a strife between my husband and I because I did not want to borrow the money. So we've had to solidify our marriage. You
borrowed the money to give him?
Say again?
You borrowed the money to give him?
We borrowed the money.
Oh, that's a double dip. Oh, my gosh. Not only did he not pay you back, but you went into debt to do this. Oh, ouch, ouch.
No, we didn't. No, we did not go into debt. No, we're in baby steps.
Oh, you loaned him the money. You didn't borrow it.
We loaned him the money, and now
that's what I thought you said.
We're the bad guys for asking for it to be repaid back as promised.
Yeah.
But we can't get him to work. We can't get him to maintain.
You can't get him to do anything. He's an adult.
No. Well, exactly.
You don't get to tell him what to do.
No.
His bank doesn't get to tell him what to do.
Right. So any guidance on how we just, don't engage in this toxicity while you're trying as a
absolutely.
As a parent of an adult
I think his dad needs to call him. His dad needs to call him up and say the loan is forgiven. Mm-hmm. Forget it. Just forget it. We're not going to loan you any money anymore ever again. But this loan's forgiven. You don't owe me anymore. And I love you. I don't agree with a lot of things you're doing, but you're a grown man and you're allowed to do those things. And we're still going to be friends. I'm still going to be grandpa. And you don't owe us any more money. Forget it. And if you want some help, we can give you some coaching and we'll be your biggest cheerleaders. But we won't give you either one, coaching or cheering, without your permission. Cut him loose. Set him free. This is bothering you way more than it's bothering him.
Oh, yeah.
You've had $28 million worth of grief. He's had 20 cents worth of grief. He hadn't got enough character for this to bother him.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. So this is Barbara. Let it go. It's just $1,500.
No, absolutely. And what breaks my heart more than my pocketbook, because we don't need that much.
Your broken heart, it doesn't even matter to him.
Well, right, but it hurts my heart how he speaks to my husband, his father.
Well, then that's your husband needs to say, you can't speak to me that way anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? You can only speak to me in tones that are reasonable. I don't allow anyone, family or otherwise, to speak to me in, unpleasant ways in an ongoing process. Now, somebody can have a moment. That's one thing. Okay. I don't cut everybody out of my life that has a moment. That's not what I'm talking about. But as an ongoing abusive thing, that's, you're welcome to call here and you're welcome to be in our home, but you're going to maintain these levels of volume and this level of reasonable respect. And I'm going to give you the same thing. But, don't call here and we're not responsible for your children. They're your children.
Correct.
We love you and we're cheering for you. If you ever want any advice on how to get where we are financially, we can show you. But we're not going to tell you what to do, and you're not going to make us give you our money. Mm-hmm. You're a confused young man. And he just needs some boundaries. Right. Your husband is a nice, gentle man, isn't he?
Yes. He's a 6'4" giant.
Yep, with a big old heart and a very, very soft, gentle personality. So I want your husband to roar just a little bit. And you do too.
Yeah.
And you do too. Now, I don't want him to be mean.
All right.
I don't want him to be mean, but it takes strength to set boundaries. And that's what's lacking here is boundaries. And let me tell you, anytime you're someone like your stepson who doesn't respect boundaries, anytime you put up a fence and he's used to playing in your yard, he's going to have a fit.
Mm-hmm.
So don't expect this to go well.
Right.
It's not going to go well because this kid's a twerp.
Yep.
Okay? And so all you can do is just say, you have to sit over there in your yard and have your little fit. You can't sit in my yard and have a fit. And I just don't worry about the money. The money's off the table.
Mm-hmm.
The money's off the table. And the fact that you forgive it is not going to make this young man suddenly have character.
Yeah, and I think that's also one of the hardest things for my husband too.
Exactly.
Is my husband's amazing work ethic.
It's sailed. That ship's sailed.
Yeah.
This kid's way too old for you to fix him. You just got to love him where he is, and if he wants some help, I can show him how. You can show him how. But until he's ready for some help, it's everybody else's fault.
Mm-hmm.
And Barbara, I would just add, you need to encourage your husband that this is not a direct reflection on him. It's very heartbreaking when you see a kid and a grown man make these kind of decisions and say the things that he's saying. But I will tell you this. I want parents to hear this. It's really hard when you see adult kids do things that you didn't model for them. You didn't teach them how to do it. But when you see an adult kid like this who's not working to support his family,
there's other stuff going on.
There's way more going on. He's not lazy. Even though he presents as lazy, he's lost.
Yeah.
And you said it earlier. You said this is a confused young man, and I think you're right. Confusion can make a person so lost that they lose all gumption to get out there and do something. And that's the best your husband can be aware of, is to try to love his son that way. But I agree, Dave, you got to cut it off for a while until he gets a wake-up call.
Do not loan money. Do not loan money to your kids. If you want to give them money, give them money. Never loan them money because you change the relationship. And that's part of what soured this relationship. Hang on, we're going to send you a copy of Dr. John Deloney's book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future. It'll help you guys navigate this, Barbara. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. We needed Dr. John Deloney for that last call.
Yeah.
But we will tell you this. One of the things we've learned from John and from Dr. Henry Cloud, our friend, and others in the world of psychology and relationships, psychiatry, and dealing with all those kinds of things, and I'll tell you this from experience as well. One of the most difficult, if not, I think the most difficult stage of parenting is when you can't anymore because they're grown.
Yeah.
They get to make their own decisions. And it's also the most difficult thing of any adult-to-adult relationship because you don't get to tell someone you love what to do while you watch them do something stupid or harmful or disastrous or whatever. And so if you got a friend that's drinking too much, you got a friend that's doing something outside their marriage they shouldn't be doing, you got a friend or a family member, but you can't tell other people you can tell other people what to do, but they don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And even though you know that what they're doing is self-destructive, and even though it's not for selfish intent that you're asking them to do that, we're not trying to. That kid's dad at 32 years old with 5 kids under 7 is not trying to do something harmful to him, but trying to get him to get a job, take care of his family. But something broke, something slipped in that young man somewhere along the line, and a couple things that always come up in the world of finance and even in the world of careers as well that are under the heading of what Dr. Deloney talks about and teaches all the time, what John talks about, is I can't be responsible for, nor do I have the literal ability to make an adult do something else. I can make them wish they did sometimes, but I can't make them do it. They have to decide to do it. And so Henry Cloud always says, don't use words like "you need to," because they obviously don't need to. You should. They obviously don't think that. Instead, you could just say, here's some ideas. Your persuasion is your only option. Ordering people around and being completely torn up inside, which I have been, you have been, she was, watching someone that you love self-destruct is a natural thing to be, but you're doubly torn up inside when you feel like you have the obligation to fix it.
Yeah, well, it's the illusion of control.
Exactly.
And we so desire to help out a friend or a family member, and you have to be able to just live with the pain. You do. You just have to be able to hurt. You hurt yourself. You hurt for them.
You watch them hurt.
Yeah, and it's terrible. But the reality is that I think you're right, Dave. Persuasion, but you got to be careful with persuasion. You know, it can only go so far, and then they begin to drown you out. You may take one or two good cracks at it.
Well,
but
persuasion is fine, and prayer. I mean, it's you ask God to send people into their path that they will listen to. But all of that comes down to them making a decision. Why would they make a decision to do something differently? Well, it can be facts, it could be emotion, it can be influence, it could be whatever. But it is never coercion.
That's correct. Yeah. Like you said a million times, they'll make the decision at some point, or they won't, to deal with the sick and tired. They're sick and tired.
One of the things you learn when you're running a business and you're leading a team, you can't make people do stuff there.
You cannot.
Now, there are companies that are so stupid, they try to make people do stuff, but those are toxic environments. All you can do is create an environment to where there are natural consequences if you don't do it, like you don't get to work here anymore. But this is what we expect, and when you don't do this, you don't get to work here anymore. And this is what we expect. And if you do this, then, you're not only going to get to work here, you're going to make more money than you've made in your life. You're going to have a great life. You're going to be part of a winning team. You get to participate in incredible crusade, all of those things. But you can always choose to engage in behaviors that cause you to opt out.
Let me ask you a generational question. Do you feel like over the last 30, 50 years that the focus on safety just in general as a culture, and I'm not being silly when I say this, but bike helmets and elbow pads, car seats, things that we know are safe, but we didn't grow up with. I just wonder if parents have gotten to the point where we're afraid to let our kids experience pain, maybe the one thing that can turn their life around. Is that a shift, or has nothing shifted as you look back?
Oh, it's probably accelerated some. I mean, the helicopter parents are at a whole new level. Now we have Black Hawk helicopter parents.
Isn't that the truth?
These were like traffic copter parents.
Now it's hovercraft. We have all different types.
Yeah. But it's a different thing. They're attack copters now. But they're just loudspeakers when I was a kid. But anyway, it's probably amped up. But it always comes from, all enabling comes from a good heart. What parent, functional parent, I'm not talking about dysfunctional, but functional parents always want their kid's life to be better than theirs was. And there's a point of diminishing returns on that. Or also, there's not only a point of diminishing returns, worse than that, we can, if we're not careful when we're enabling, what that leads to, we can misdefine, put the wrong definition of what a better life is. A life devoid of struggle is not a better life.
No.
Let me try that again. A life devoid of struggle is not a better life. And so we tried to let our kids experience pain while they were at home under the covering of our wings, so that we could control the level of pain. Because when you get outside the home, I can't help you anymore. The level of pain can become unbearable.
That's true.
It can put you in an institution. I mean, it could be completely overwhelming, because you can do stupid, and the it's decades
Yep.
of health problems, decades of brain damage that follows that, decades of broken and torn relationships, the rest of your life that are marred by that. I can't keep you from making those decisions once you're outside so we try to let our kids, fall over and go, okay, you got to deal with that. I'm not going to go over and fix that conflict. Yeah. Here's how you deal with conflict. Go work on that. And they would do it wrong sometimes.
Oh, sure.
But all within. So a life devoid of struggle is not necessarily a better life. And when you, as a parent, and that's a little bit of the bike helmet thing, the thing is we want there to be 100% zero fatalities, 100% zero whatever. But that means that no kids ever jumped over anything on their bicycle.
Yeah.
And that would be a shame.
Yeah.
It would be a shame.
Yeah.
It's also a shame when one of them gets hurt. I was hurt. I get stitches all over my body doing that crap. And I'm not, I don't want children to be harmed. I'm not that stupid.
Right.
But this idea that you can completely remove all risk from life and still have a high-quality life. Yeah. No, I just jumped out of an airplane the other day.
Yes, you did. I watched you. I watched you float down.
You
with
watched
a big
me
smile.
from the ground. You did.
I wasn't ready, folks. I need to baby step my way onto that plane. You should have seen the plane he went up in.
Well, and you can't say stuff like he left it all on the ground.
No, you cannot.
You left it all on the field. You can't say lines like that.
No, you can't. One thing we've gotten to a point where we are not even trying to just eliminate pain for our kids, Dave. Now we're trying to eliminate unpleasantness. Yeah. And so now it's all about, I want my kid to feel good.
Thus, you need a safe space when you're triggered and all this ridiculous stuff.
But if it's all about making our kids feel good, we'll miss the
part
point
of going off to college, which you have to deal with tenured professors. And they're not reasonable human beings.
No.
And so, by and large.
No.
And so, but now it's all about Junior getting out without a single ever having his little feelings hurt or his ideas. If I actually disagree with you, it completely shuts some of you down.
Yeah.
You can't deal with it because you've had zero conflict ever in your life to process.
Right. You got to deal.
So your critical thinking skills are mush.
I wish we had some data on how quickly my generation learned to ride a bike versus the kids of today. Because here's the deal. If you wrecked when I was a kid, you stuck to the sheets for a week. Now they got more pads on them than you could possibly. Well, it makes the point, doesn't it, Dave?
I don't remember sticking to the sheets.
No skin on your knees?
Gross.
Oh, yeah. If you wrecked a bike in my day, you paid for it.
Yeah, I know, but golly, back in my day. Oh, my God. You sound like that guy.
This is the guy that used to say, get up and spray some Bactine on it.
Bactine.
Now it's too much for Papa
There's
Dave.
A throwback. Bactine.
You're the one that used to say that.
This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, Ken Coleman here. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Get your daily dose of advice on life and money. Check out all of our shows from the Ramsey Network wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. We're glad you're here. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today as we talk about your life, your career, your money, your relationships. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Stacy's in Austin, Texas. Hi, Stacy. How are you?
Hi. Can y'all hear me okay?
Sure. What's up?
Great. Thanks so much for taking my call. I really enjoy listening to both of you. I feel like I'm having a fangirl moment. So, okay. So the simple question is we had a wake-up call in July, or actually June, and we've tallied everything, and we're on baby step 2. It is just a really daunting number. Without our mortgage, we own a home. Without our mortgage, we have $170,000 in debt. That's, you name it, mostly credit cards and student loans and some car payments. And
how much do you owe on your cars?
I owe $15,000 on mine. My monthly payment is $260. My husband owes $31,000 on his, and his car payment is $600. I recently sold a much bigger, more expensive car and downsized, but was afraid to pay all cash for it.
Why?
So I cut my.
That was before you had the wake-up call.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the beginning of it, and then it's a family car. We have a 4-year-old son. And I just was like, gosh, we put the most miles on my car. So I just wanted it to be something really reliable and safe. And
what are your two cars? Just tell me what the two models are in year.
Sure. I have a 2011 Lexus RX 350. That's the $260 a month. Mm-hmm. And my husband drives a... Dave, I'm interested if you'll know this one. It's a 2014 Chevy SS, but it has a Hennessy supercharger in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's recently been retuned, and it's a beast.
Yeah,
anyways, those are our two cars. So.
Great gas mileage. Not.
Yeah. Not.
Yeah. All right. So what's your household income?
We make over $200,000. We net $12,000 a month. I have a nice base salary, but also earn commissions. So that's our low end. And some months we make more than that. My husband's salary is set, and he's in IT.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we have a big shovel. We're just.
So your question's what?
Well, so I hate the amount of debt we have. I'm
$85,000 a year for 2 years, and you're out of debt.
I could do it. I don't know if my husband's, wanting to sacrifice. So ultimately, we're not in a home that we want to be in forever. We do want to move to the Northeast. It's just a dream that we've had. So,
you know what the problem with that is?
What?
You're going to go with you.
People in the Northeast. Yeah, I know.
No, you're going to go with you. And your husband, who doesn't want to sacrifice, is going to go with you.
No.
You can't run from this.
Yeah.
The two of you in your relationship and the two of you as a team have to stare this beast down.
Yeah.
And the beast is in your mirror.
Yeah.
You don't have a math problem. You got a me problem.
Yep.
So that's where we start. And when the two of you call me back and say, we are truly sick and tired of being sick and tired, we're not going to rationalize about a freaking 4-year-old needing a car to ride in that's a certain kind of car called a Lexus. We're not going to rationalize about driving a muscle car when we're like a grown man with children and can't pay his bills. We're not going to rationalize and run to the Northeast and pay all this off with the equity from our home and never have faced the fact that we wouldn't pay a price to win in the mirror. You guys, when you're ready to do that, you're ready to do anything. You don't have to do any of these things mathematically. You can keep the cars, but you can't keep the lifestyle, and you can't keep the wishy-washy, I sort of kind of want to do this stuff. Not and get out of debt.
Yep.
Not and get out of debt. There's only one way you're going to get out of debt is you guys have substantial change in your view of money, your view of stuff, your view of acquisition, your view of what gives you peace, your view of those things. When you change those things, that's transformation, and this debt will just evaporate in 2 years when you do that. You'll be on my stage in here screaming, I'm debt-free.
I'd love to be.
Stacy, let me ask you a quick question. Couple of credit cards. What's your monthly payments, your minimums that you're paying on these credit cards? Give me a couple of numbers.
I broke our debt down because I'm the geek. Yeah. So the consumer debt is $94,000, and we pay $2,000 a month on just consumer debt. I called consumer debt everything but the cars and his student loan.
Right. By the way, it's all consumer debt.
Yeah, it's all.
I get you. Yeah. This is just how I broke it down.
Here's what you need to hear. You guys need to say this to each other out loud. We make $200,000 a year, and we couldn't even choose to live on that.
I know.
That's
It's
where
never
credit
gonna be
card.
enough,
That's where
right?
credit card debt
If
comes
we don't
from.
change.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
going to be bankrupt. You're going to be the bankrupt rich people.
The reason I ask you those questions, Stacy, is because you started off the call going, it feels insurmountable. But if you were to just fix the car situation, that's $860 a month. Couple of credit cards, you're quickly over $1,000 a month that would be free to then put towards the student loans. And with your income, what Dave is saying, you could get out of this thing quick. I just don't know that you believe that you guys can get out of this as quick as we believe you can.
Well, 200 minus 85 is not a bad amount to live on. That's 115.
I know. Yep.
Not counting taxes, but still, I mean, it's still, that's the big numbers. But you guys, I don't think my husband's willing to do that, but my husband is willing to move to the Northeast, sell the house, and pay off all the debt with the windfall you get from selling a house in this world that we live in today, because he's going to make a ton of money. You can do that if you want to do it, but I predict this will crop back up because you've never dealt with you. He's never dealt with him, and as a couple, we've never dealt with, we need a common vision for our home, the people with our last name. As for me and my house, we need a common vision, and y'all don't have that. Your only common vision is you spend like you're in Congress. And it's killing you, girl. You're breaking my heart. So that's my challenge to y'all. Lovingly, as kindly as I can. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but it yields a harvest of righteousness. This is what's in your future, one way or the other. You're either going to decide or somebody's going to decide for you later. This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Right now you're hearing a lot of talking heads in the news stirring up fear about the real estate market. If you believe them, then you think the housing market's going to crash, and it will be a repeat of the 2008 crisis. You're not hearing the truth, and you can't make decisions based on fear. You need actual facts. Here they are. In 2008, there was a huge supply of homes, but not enough buyer demand. 3 times, almost 4 times more homes were on the market in 2008 than are on the market today. And buyer demand was much lower than it is now. Our demand is way up. There's 12 million more households than there were, and there's 5 million more millennials in their mid-30s than there were Gen Xers in their mid-30s in 2008. And mid-30s people are their prime house buying time. So demand is up, supply is down, house prices aren't going to crash. Right now there's half as many homes for sale as there are twice the buyers. Half as many for sale. You don't have a housing crash when half as many homes are for sale as there are buyers. Buyers are fighting to get houses still. Slowing down. There's not an auction like it was in a lot of areas, but it has slowed down. You got to work with an experienced real estate agent when you're in a market like this. This is not amateur hour. And so jump on to RamseySolutions.com. Find the people that we endorse, ELPs, endorsed local providers that are Ramsey trusted agents in your area to buy or to sell in this current world. It's too wild out there to go on your own. You need a pro in your corner walking with you. They don't cost you money. They make you money because the deals are much better when you're dealing with an experienced, high-octane, high-protein real estate agent. Check on our Ramsey Trusted ELPs at RamseySolutions.com if you're doing a real estate deal, and you should be doing real estate deals. Katie is in Springfield. Hi, Katie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello, can you hear me? Thank you for having me.
Sure. What's up?
So I am a newlywed college student, and my husband and I are about $12,000, a little bit over in debt, and are trying to figure out how to get ahead of this ball before it gets bigger than what we can pay off reasonably right after school.
You're $12,000 in debt.
Yes.
And you're what year in school?
So I have full ride, and I'm finishing my associates. My husband has also finished his associates, but he's finishing his bachelor's in engineering.
And how are we paying for all of this future education?
So right now we're working, and we have scholarship, and then all of my leftover scholarship, since I'm at a really cheap community college, goes over to his bills for school.
So you're not adding any more debt?
So that's what we're trying to avoid, is adding any more debt.
That's what I was asking about.
Student loan options, but we don't want to take them if we don't have to.
You don't have to. Don't take them. You need to draw a line in the sand and say no more debt. So that's the first thing. And then once you do that, then $12,000 you can knock out. You may have to wait till you graduate and get jobs to be able to knock it out. But your first goal is not getting rid of the $12,000. Your first goal is graduate without any more debt. And so I would just pile up money until he graduates. And I'd pay off the $12,000 after he gets out of school.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now getting both of you through with no more debt is a big job in and of itself, isn't it?
Yes.
That's enough to concentrate on. And I think that's a great goal. And I think it's very doable, by the way. But you do have to take what we say, take debt off the table. You have to go, that's not an option. I'm not going to do that. Now, how are we going to figure it out? And then that means scholarships and all the stuff you've been doing. You've been scratching and clawing and scraping and scrapping and hustling and grinding, and you're doing all the right stuff. You're doing a lot of smart things here. But the only thing I would tell you is, A, take debt off the table. B, if you can simply graduate with no debt, no more debt, and deal with the $12,000 later, I'm going to call that a success, wouldn't you?
I would, because again, I think we've been illustrating this hour certainly that you can pay off $12,000. Certainly, two people together in this job economy, you can knock that out so fast. It really make your head spin how quickly you could knock that out.
Might get that as a signing bonus at the new job.
That's right, especially with that engineering degree. Who knows? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
They're both going to make good money.
Here's what's interesting in North America today. There are legitimate areas of poverty where people literally have unbelievable poverty. Nowhere near what there used to be. It's the best it's ever been. Poverty level is the lowest it's ever been in American history right now. And but aside from someone living at that, personal finance is 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. None of you listening really have a math problem as much as you have a behavior problem. And that includes me. When I discovered this truth years ago, I figured out if I could get the guy in the mirror to behave, he could be skinny and rich. But he's got issues with donuts, chocolate covered preferably.
Yeah.
He's got other issues with other kinds of foods, pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
And, we all have this issue of, denying ourselves something now to get something better later.
Yeah.
This idea of delayed pleasure, which is a grown-up act. Children do what feels good. Adults devise a plan and follow it. And so, our caller before the break, $200,000 a year, $85,000 in income. That's a fairly easy math formula. You should be out of debt in 2 years. But you have to be willing to deeply sacrifice. And by the way, they've been living not on $200,000, they've been living on about $250,000 because they've run up over $100,000 worth of credit card debt. Yeah. And so not only do you have to cut your lifestyle down to your income, now you have to cut it dramatically below your income. None of that is a math problem. That's all just a decision. And the rationalizations, the beliefs that we've brought in as to what is normal, and our level of work ethic. How much are we willing to work, short-term and long-term? And am I willing to stay at a job that, quote-unquote, feels secure when there's something I can make twice as much with a reasonable level of risk?
Yeah. Well, you're really hitting on something. I say this all the time, Dave, that we are, as humans, our natural human condition is to be more comfortable being miserable than comfortable
than miserable being comfortable.
Right. It's like, well, we would rather be miserable than uncomfortable is a better way to say it.
Yeah.
Because I know what my misery is. Well,
it's the devil I know.
Yeah. I got the credit card payments. We're barely making ends meet, but we got all the stuff, and it's killing me, but I'm used to it. Versus, what would it take to actually pay off $85,000? What would it take? How quickly could we do it? And we don't even dive into that question. And so what happens is, Dave, the unknown is terrifying. It is absolutely paralyzed, like walking in a cave. You and Daniel Ramsey were telling me the other day a story about being in Israel in some cave or something where it finally wigged you out because it was so like dark or something or so crazy.
Crowded. The people wouldn't get out of the way.
Oh, it was crowded. Sorry. But if you've ever been in a dark cave where you can't see in front of you,
yeah.
You don't move.
I can handle that as long as I got a light. Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying, but imagine how terrifying. Oh, here's an example.
It's overwhelming.
Well, yeah, but you get in a deep fog. What do? You pull the car over immediately. You can't see behind the hood of your car.
When you are out of control and you can't see your way towards control, it's called anxiety.
Right.
That's what we call it.
But part of this is we don't even look into what would have to be true for us to do this. And then when we dive into the unknown a little bit and get some answers, now what was terrifying and intimidating is, all right, it's going to be hard, but it's doable.
Yeah. Jim Collins, that wrote the book Good to Great, talks about that in Great by Choice.
Yeah.
He said the thing that paralyzes more people in business, and it's true in your personal life too, people are more afraid of ambivalence than they are known struggle.
Absolutely right.
They'll choose known struggle over not knowing quicker. And so that's what we do here. We shine a light of knowing and go, you can do this. Now you got to face the most difficult equation of all, the human equation. Personal finance is 80% behavior. It's only 20% of knowledge. It is truly up to you. It's not up to the White House. It's up to what happens in your house. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Chris and Caitlin are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hi. Hey, how are you?
Good to have you guys. Where do you live?
We are from a small town in Ohio, Belleville.
Okay, what's that near?
It's about 20 minutes south of Mansfield.
Got it. Okay, cool. Welcome to Nashville. And how much debt did you guys pay off?
We paid off $56,081.70 in 17 months.
Way to go. And your range of income during that time?
We pretty much stayed right about $90K.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I do quality control for a pharmaceutical company.
Mm-hmm.
And I own and operate a construction business with my brother.
Excellent. Very cool. Very cool. What kind of debt was the $56,000?
A little bit of everything, Dave. We had student loans, a truck payment, tractor payment, credit cards, medical. You name it, we had it.
What was the biggest debt?
Student loans.
Okay. How much was that?
Right around $25,000.
Okay, so almost half of it was student loan debt.
Yes, sir.
And who did that? Oh, all right, Caitlin. All right, cool. Because he did the truck and the tractor, so we know what happened there, right? I doubt neither one of those were you. All right, good. So it sounds like we're about even here. How long y'all been married?
Just
2 years. We're going on 2 years.
Okay, so just shortly after marriage, you come home and you say, we're going to get out of debt. Tell us how that happened and how you got connected to us.
Yeah, so really I think she came home and she said, I heard of this guy, Dave Ramsey, and I said, okay, who is that? and
we just got married. I don't want to hear about another guy.
Right. So she continued on saying, well, just take a chance, listen to his podcast, hear him out. And I did. And we were already so broke at the time. I said, we have nothing else to lose. Let's try it.
Why not? Yeah.
Why not? We're already
not going anywhere but down. Might as well give old Ramsey a shot.
Right.
That's great. I like it. So what was the first thing you did after that?
Started paying off the credit cards. Stopped using the credit cards.
All right. So you got a game plan together. You said we're going to work the baby steps.
Yep.
And did the debt snowball? And the littlest was the credit card.
Yep.
Okay. Good.
It was just a force to be reckoned with from there. It just kept tumbling and tumbling.
Okay. So once you saw it happen, and then it's game on, then it starts. What was the craziest sacrifice you did to get out? Thing where people kind of rolled their eyes at you.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you got to keep your nose on the grindstone, keep pushing, because you're gonna hit a point where you're like, man, this is tough, and that's where the teamwork comes into play, and without Caitlin, we couldn't have did this without her. So, and I was out 8, 9, not getting home till sometimes 10 o'clock at night, trying to sell jobs and
hanging drywall,
you name it, just out there hustling, trying to get this paid off.
Yeah, just whatever it took, right?
Whatever it took.
All the way through.
Was that outside of your company with your brother? You're doing handyman, any kind of odd construction job you could find?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Wow. Good for you guys. How's it feel to be free?
Amazing.
Feels great.
Yeah. Who were your biggest cheerleaders outside the two of you?
I think, honestly, it'd be my younger brother and sister, Autumn and Aiden. They've been with this journey from before the beginning.
They were our reason why. They were our first reason why.
At 19 years old, get a phone call. I go pick my brother and sister up, and we didn't know what that was going to turn into, but I think it's the greatest thing that happened to the both of us. It turned us into mature adults at a very young age. We ended up taking over custody of them.
Oh, wow.
And they were right around 10 and 14 at the time.
And we were 19.
We were 19. So
whoa.
So we have 2 kids here now. We're like, what the heck do we do?
And we're broke.
2 kids, don't know what to do. We're broke. So we gotta figure out a game plan, and we gotta figure out something fast, because you look at the generations before you and the generations growing up with you, and you say, is this what I want? And if the answer is no, then you got to do something about it. You got to make the change and create your own destiny.
Yeah, so when you're wearing shirts that say change our family tree, it means a lot.
It means a lot.
Yeah, because you really had to step into a broken situation and man up at a very, very early age. I'm so proud of you guys. You're amazing people.
Thank you.
Amazing people. And along the way, you had a baby?
We did.
All right. And so how old's the baby?
She's 11 months now.
Awesome. And what's her name?
Reagan Rose.
Okay. And she's got some built-in babysitters.
Yes. And they do a great job.
That's great. That's awesome. Very, very cool.
Well, I got to ask, you're in the midst of, a life-changing relational situation, and then you decide, okay, we're going to make some life changes financially. Was there a point where it got to be like, oh, this is so overwhelming, how are we going to do this? I see you're shaking your head. Take us there.
I think when we were eating, what's that dollar dinner? Hamburger helper 3 times a week, and the electric got shut off because somebody didn't pay it. That was pretty stressful. And kids always need food, always need clothes, always want to do stuff, and we were the ones there. So that was really the I had it moment when we didn't have any money. We didn't have anything. There was nothing left over for us.
And you guys are how old now?
24.
Wow.
Wow.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
When you're 34, where you're going to be sitting is going to be amazing. And the honor and the nobility that you have shown in your life overall for your whole family is it's breathtaking, and number one. But number two, where that's going to take you to, if you continue to live your life with that kind of character, where you're going to go is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, just this little bit of $56,000 worth of debt's a big hurdle, but it ain't nothing compared to what's coming. Your future's so bright. It's
true.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I want you all to know that the strength that you have acquired during this struggle, I don't even think we can possibly define it. I don't even know if you know how strong you all really are now with what you've had to overcome. It's truly inspiring. It really is.
Well done, y'all. You're amazing. We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
Proud to know you. Very well done. Very, very well done. What advice do you have for somebody trying to get out of debt? You did it.
I think we think it's faith and commitment. Number one, faith in God, and then faith in each other, and then faith in your budget, and stay committed to your budget and stay committed to one another. And if you can do that, you can do anything.
Amen. Amen. What about you, Caitlin? What do you tell people the secret is?
I would definitely say the same thing. I'd also say even when you don't like the budget is there to help you.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with that one. Very well done. All right, let's get the whole gang up here, the new baby, the brothers and sisters that are now part of the family, everything. This is a family tree that has been changed by so much, but most of all by the incredible character and nobility of this young couple. Very, very well done. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, my gosh. Unbelievable. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, it's Chris and Caitlin, Autumn, Aiden, and Reagan from Ohio. What an incredible story. $56,000 paid off in 17 months, making $90,000. We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires, Total Money Makeover, and Financial Peace for you to say we're proud of you and to take you into the next part of the journey. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
1, 2, 3.
We're debt-free!
Yeah! Wow. You're 19 years old and you take custody of your 10-year-old little brother and your little sister. Unbelievable. And then we get married, have a baby, and let's get out of debt. Oh, there we go. While we're at it. Oh, my gosh. That's just enough to take it on. And but this is how lives are changed when people like that step up. And you don't have to be 104, and you don't have to have a PhD, and you don't have to have $1 million. You just got to have character. Man, that's impressive. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Philippians 3:14. I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. Bruce Lee said the successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. Woo-wee!
Well, we just see that every day here on the show.
I like that one a lot. Trevor is with us. Trevor is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hi, Trevor. How are you?
Hi, Dave and Ken. How are you guys?
Great, man. How can we help?
Good. Hey, I have a career question. I guess it's kind of a good problem to have, I think. A few weeks ago, I was in the interview process for 2 different roles. And I guess company A, we went through the process, and they sent me an offer. And so I followed up with company B, and only to find out that the hiring manager had resigned from his position. So I'm a Christian, so I kind of saw that as kind of one door closing, another one opening, and I accepted the offer to the first company. Well, about a week later, the leadership from company B contacted me and asked if he could send over an offer. So kind of the predicament I'm in now is I have 2 offers, but I've already accepted one offer from another company. So I'm just struggling ethically, kind of how to handle that situation. And so I just wanted to call you guys for some advice on that.
Sure. So what's the better offer for you? Clearly B?
I think so. Yeah, I think.
Otherwise, there'd be no struggle.
Yeah, there's no struggle. So
right.
So here's what you have to weigh: your morality. You're a really good guy. You're a high character guy. So you feel bad about this because you want to take B, but you're worried about how they're going to feel, and maybe a little bit more worried about how you're going to look if you go back to A and go, "Hey, listen, I accepted the offer. I was up for 2 offers at the time. Here's what happened." And I think you have to say, how would you want someone to handle this situation with you? And so here, let me give you what I think is the real issue you have to get comfortable with. If you take A, in other words, if you stay with A, but you really want B, and B is the better offer, you're really doing A disservice if you stay anyway. So what you think feels like, well, I accepted the offer, I've got to be a good guy, I've got to be high character, and I got to stay with A, but your eye is always on B. I think it's doing a disservice to company A anyway. So I think the way to handle this, the way I would handle it is to treat someone the way I would want to be treated in this situation, which is be absolutely clear and upfront about what happened, the timeline and everything. They're not going to be happy about it, but you got to do what you believe is right for you long term.
What's the difference in the offers?
About $15,000 a year annually.
What about the companies?
So one company A is a little more established and has a little bit more structure, so I kind of know what I'm getting into. Company B is a little more, it's smaller, and they're going through a lot of changes, and there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of eyeballs on the roll.
Yeah, they're also very disorganized.
Probably.
No, they are. You told me the hiring manager got quit or got fired, and they never followed up with you until you'd already accepted another offer.
You're exactly right.
They had no handoff. They had no methodology for handing off a lost employee and picking up their workload. They're disorganized.
That's true.
And so they're more of a startup, and they're flying by the seat of their pants. Which one are you going to exist better in? I might be better in the startup because I'm kind of that rough and tumble guy, but some people prefer the structure and the predictability.
Yeah, and I'm coming from a larger kind of publicly traded company, so I'm used to that a little bit more.
So what's most attractive about B? Is it just the $15,000 bump, or is there more to it than that?
Boy, well, that's certainly a part of it.
Well, is it the majority part? Because I'm telling you,
for $15K, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, for $15K, that'll wear off pretty quickly. If you see this as an opportunity, I'm not as Dave brings a very good point, but I'd want to know: is this a isolated situation, or is this a pattern across the board with how they handled the miscommunication? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good.
So
yeah,
A, is it a pattern, and B, are you mostly attracted to B just because of the bump?
It would. I'm a pretty rough and tumble, ready to go with a startup, but it would concern me if they dropped a ball, and the ball, by the way, was you. That would concern me a little bit.
Yes. As long as it could be isolated, I could see this happening.
Yeah.
So I want to put you on the spot. You didn't answer it yet. Is it mostly the pay? Or is this, you feel like this might be a good ladder for you to climb?
I'm trying to reconcile that right now as we talk. I think the pay has something to do with it, but I think there's definitely opportunity at both places. So as far as the ladder to climb, I think there's opportunity at both places.
That's fair. What's the total pay?
For which one?
The total. I mean, either one, 15 or minus 15.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So the higher pay is 125.
Okay, so 125 or 110.
Sure.
Yeah. So we're talking about a 15% swing, give or take, 14% swing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, I would be perfectly fine with either choice if I were you. If you want to walk into the other people and go, look, here's what happened. I don't like this. I don't even like how it feels. This is awkward. I'm very sorry. I'm going the other direction, and take B.
Okay.
But I will throw into the mix, just as a part of the decision, that I don't think this is apples to apples. You're presenting this as apples to apples, plus or minus 15, and I think B is a lot more unpredictable. And I don't. single events don't bother me, but if you can establish that this is a pattern, and this organization just simply does not run as well for whatever reason, and that discounts it for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so you can decide that. You can.
Fresh.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I was saying this is super fresh. It just happened kind of this morning, and so it's something that's the type of stuff that I wanted to call you guys and think about things that I wasn't already thinking about.
How many employees is B?
200.
And how old are they?
5 years old.
Okay.
Same industry or different industries?
Different industries.
All right, that's another question that I didn't bring up. I mean, long term,
what do you want to do for a living?
Do you want to pivot to the industry of company B?
Well, I mean, I should preface this. I'm in finance, so this is like a senior finance role. So it'll be finance in both.
Oh, okay. Just a different, same type of work, different industry.
Yeah, same type of work, but different.
Yeah, I think Dave's really onto something here. $15,000 is not a decision that I would make for the short term. I would go long term. What's the right long term decision? Go with
10
B
years
or
from now, which one's going to make you the most happy?
That's
finance. Right. You're a very structured guy. You're a methodical, process-driven guy. If there's chaos at that other place, it's going to drive you nuts. Mm-hmm. You need to really know that before you make this call. Mm-hmm. And it's not worth a 15 bump if it's going to drive you nuts. And then that takes the problem off the table, obviously. I'm not sure that's the case. I'm just questioning as to how this whole thing went down. If that was the way you ended up interacting with your leadership team for the next 5 years, you're going to pull your hair out, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
If that's what it is. Now, we've got a little of both around here. Honestly, we've got some areas of this company that are still very raw, very frontier, very pioneering, very rough and tumble, and very disorganized and chaotic. And then we've got other areas of this place that are running like a freaking sewing machine. The processes are so dialed in and so professional, and we got 1,200 team members. So we got a little of both going on around here, so we could get accused of either. It's not saying that company is right or wrong. I'm just trying to make observations about how this guy fits and where he goes in the thing here. So, the way to handle it, if you chose to do B, is simply just be upfront and tell the truth.
Yeah.
All the way through.
Do it the way you'd want somebody to handle you.
Treat other people like you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Solves all your business ethics problems.
Be classy. Here's why, Dave. This is relevant to this last call. I shared an article today on the show, the Ken Coleman Show. 30% of people who changed jobs in the last 2 years are regretting it. Because 30%. They took the paycheck and then they said it wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be, or I missed my old company. I missed them.
Ooh.
So you got to be careful making these kind of moves just for a pay bump. It's got to be a long-term play.
Yeah, got to be where you need to be. Good point. Well, that puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Thanks to Austin, Ben, Zach, Andrew, James, Kelly, everybody in the booth. Ken, good show. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
App on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.